I couldn't even cook these damn noodles right because my mother was basically kicking me out of her freaking kitchen. Anyways, if you guys can't tell by the title, hey guys, my name is Melissa. I just recently did my 16 pregnant story time, and I did want to do the Q&A part with it, but it was just way too long, and I was like, I'm just gonna do a part 2. And I wanted to do a mukbang anyways. So it's July 30, Friday, and I made some spicy cheesy noodles. Let me get a thumbnail real quick. The cheese didn't even get to melt. Okay, that's good enough. So I'm trying to mix it up so the cheese can melt within the heated spots. I also made a tutorial on how to make them, so I'll be inserting those clips right now. I'm gonna be showing y'all, sorry about the bad lighting. I'm gonna be telling y'all how to make cheesy spicy noodles in this quick little tutorial. Hopefully I can get it under a minute. But basically, you're gonna put a pot of water on the stove and put it on high so that it can begin boiling. The noodles I'm going to be using is the Sam Young spicy noodles, the black one, not the red ones. When it starts boiling, that's when you put it in. You don't want to put it before because then they get like soggy. And I don't really have a time how long I cook them. I just cook them, cover it, and they kind of turn like a different color, and you can kind of test them when they're ready. Make sure they're not hard. For the cheese, I am going to be using some cheddar cheese. I use the mild one. I don't really like the strong cheddar cheese, but I'm just going to shred some. My recommendation is to not get shredded cheese because they put a lot of chemicals on it just so that they could actually stay like shredded and not like stick together, if that makes sense. So I just like to shred my own, even though I think cheese is bad for you anyways. So then you cook them, you drain the water, and when I drained it, I should have drained a little bit more, which I did that off camera. I put in like half the sauce packet. For the spice level, you decide how you want it. The more the spicier. Mix that in, then I added some cheese on top and covered it, turned it off the heat, and just let it melt on top. And then there you go. So I just had to mix it in there and let it melt within the noodles instead of it being like a nice cheesy top coat, but you know, whatever. I couldn't even get a good picture or video of my freaking noodles because the cheese wasn't completely melted. So here I am. Go grab a snack because we're gonna eat together. Ooh, baby girl. Look at that cheese. I'm excited. I'm gonna be eating my noodles and answering y'all's questions. I also have some Gatorade with me, and I also got some Twix. I wish I had some cucumber, but I don't have that. And we gotta get started before these noodles get stale. I wrote down a whole bunch of questions because on my Instagram when I asked you guys, it was just a lot of repeating questions, so I had to go through and find original questions, you know. Let me take a bite first. Y'all like how I did my nails? I literally, if you follow me on Instagram, I had asked you guys what color I should paint them. You know, everybody said different colors, but I was like, red? Okay, I'll do red. So I did red. And then I decided to do this sticker stuff, and they literally look like Christmas nails. And then I was just like, I'm not gonna do this to this hand. I'm just gonna put some glitter on it. I like how these hand turned out better. So good. So let's get started. How did you and your baby daddy find out? If you guys haven't seen my story time, I'll leave it linked down below. This video is mainly just to fill in some gaps and questions that I didn't really answer. I knew I wasn't gonna be able to remember everything, so that's why I wanted to do this video, part 2. How did you and your baby daddy find out, and did you guys find out together? We found out together, but technically me first. How did you feel when you found out you were pregnant? I was in shock. I didn't really have any thoughts, to be honest. I was just like, am I really pregnant? I just really thought about a child. I wasn't really thinking about myself. I was thinking about the child. And then I thought about my parents. Like, what the hell were they gonna say? I didn't tell y'all. So I want to start a new series My original plan was to get wings from Buffalo Wild Wings and do these videos like every 2 weeks on Tuesdays. If you guys didn't know, Buffalo Wild Wings does buy one get one free wing type of BOGO deal. Well, I usually go on Tuesdays, get 6 wings, but it ends up being 12 wings, and I love eating them. That was what my series was gonna be, like wings and chisme, something like that. But I ended up going on Tuesday and not doing the video. And I was just like, you know, I'm gonna do some noodles, or it'll involve food and chisme like maybe every 2 weeks, and you guys can send me topics you want me to talk about, you know, girl talk, whatever. So that's my new series. This is the first one, but this is my 16 pregnant one, so it kind of like doesn't count, but it kind of does. What were some of the symptoms you had? So this was kind of weird. I didn't really have any symptoms. I didn't have morning sickness. I had like night sickness for like a week, and that was before I found out I was pregnant. So I was like, what the fuck, this is weird. Like everything felt nasty, and the only thing that stayed down in my stomach was water. So I was like, yep, I think I'm pregnant. And that's when I would take pictures of my bump. How I told y'all that I had like a flat stomach, and then like I started getting this bump. Were you happy when you found out? I was in shock. Another question I also got was like, did you go through depression while you were pregnant? And no, not really. I feel like I didn't really like get depressed or cry a lot because I knew I was gonna get through it. I think I said in my last video that I would cry sometimes, like by myself. But I feel like there are some girls that have it worse than me and like kind of go through it and depressed, because I've seen my comments from my last video, and it's crazy how a lot of us can relate. If I were to tell y'all like I loved him from the moment I knew, it's kind of like cringe, but it kind of is true. Like I started thinking about a lot about the baby. I would watch other teen mom videos, and you know, that kind of made me feel better. And then also after having the support, it made me feel better. How did your boyfriend's family react? When he told them the day after I told my parents. He had told me that they were like, you know, like, what the fuck did you do, like pendejo and stuff like that. But nothing like too much. It was just like for 5 minutes, and they left the house to come to my house to talk. But the thing is, I feel like I was a little bit more hurt with what my mom told me, because she had never talked to me like that. She had never talked to me like, you know how some moms are say a whole bunch of bad words to you? My mom was never like that. So when she said all that, it was kind of just like, but he was used to being talked like that. So I mean, I can't really speak for him, but when I asked him like, what did your parents say? He was like, oh, you know, how they usually talk. Was it hard telling your parents? Yes, I had to grow the balls to tell them. Like, I grew the balls to make a baby. And I did think about different options. I feel like a lot of people don't know that. I had watched a lot of videos, and some people just run away, and some people like leave a note and then they run away, and that's what I was thinking. I was really thinking about that one. But then I was like, bro, I'm just gonna freaking tell them in person. When I told my parents, my mom was like, why did you decide to tell me like this? And I was like, I don't know, I just wanted to tell you in person. And she was like, well, why didn't you just like go away? That's another thing I didn't mention in my last video. I didn't remember, but when I was reading through the questions, it reminded me that she had told me that. And that's what I mean, like, she just kept yapping and not watching what she says at all, even like hours after, and days, months, weeks. What other option is there? Well, I mean, you can go to the doctor and go with your parents and let them find out like that, but I didn't want that. Also, when we were talking the day I told them, y'all know how I was crying, talking to them, my mom, she had said, that baby is basically gonna be my baby, you're not even gonna be the mom. And that's when I stopped crying. I was like, hold up, bitch. I had stopped crying at that moment. I was like, no, bruh, I have the baby, I'm gonna take care of it, I'm gonna be the mother, of course. So I was like, I'm gonna be responsible, I'm gonna finish school, like, this isn't gonna stop me from doing anything. So I'm glad I knew that from the start, and I said it up front. But it don't matter what I say. How did you feel throughout your first trimester? So I Like, I felt alone because I'm the one having the baby, but then I wasn't alone. And the only one that would really comfort me and know is my boyfriend. But I also started to feel happy for myself, you know, like, even though I'm young as hell, that shouldn't stop me from being happy with my kid. Did you have any fears after finding out you were pregnant? Yes, obviously my biggest one was miscarriage, or like me being anemic, or when I gave birth, complications. Did you feel like you would struggle raising a child? Yes. So most times some teen moms are left alone and they have no help, and I feel like that's when it gets hard, but I'm glad that I have help. What were your friends' reaction? I didn't cover this in the last video, but I had texted my best friend because she was in a different school, and I feel like she didn't really believe me. But when we had met up in person, she was like, yeah, I didn't really believe you. And then my other friend, she didn't believe me at all because I told her in person. She thought I was pranking her. She's like, I've been pranked before, so I don't want to fall for this. And then after like an hour, she's like, oh, I believe you now. And she was always supportive. Both of my friends, all my friends are supportive. And I have a lot of hate comments about people need to stop normalizing teen pregnancies. Like, teens are gonna have sex either way, whether you want it or not. If you have a problem with me posting my life and my teen life with my kid, then stop watching me. This is good, y'all. Okay, I think the air is hitting my noodles. That's why they're getting a little stale. Who went to go buy the test? So we went to Target, me and my boyfriend. We went together, but he bought it. Cause what the fuck? I was not gonna buy the test. Do you think you would still be with your baby daddy if you guys didn't have a baby? I had already talked about this with my boyfriend, but to be honest, no. I don't think I would have been with him if I didn't have a baby. Just cause the relationship wouldn't be us. It would be like involving my parents too, them getting mad at me. I mean, we would if we both tried really hard. How did your family react? I'm gonna tell you some shit they said. When my mom told her side of the family, when she told them, I wasn't really there, but I know she would cry. She would just talk with them for hours, and my mom has like 11 siblings, so she told all of them. I think, I'm not sure. I know she would cry. I know she would be like, me estoy embarazada. And then she would also tell family here in Florida, which is mainly like my dad's side. And she literally told one of my aunts, and like most of them said this, like, did you talk to her about these things? It's because you don't have a close relationship with her. That's why she ended up pregnant. So it was just shit like that. I do remember one specifically. One of my aunts, we were driving in the same car, and she was like, es porque no tuviste una relación cercana con tu hija, porque por eso salió embarazada. And she's like, yo iba a dejar mi hija salir con tu hija de jóvenes, pero las cosas han cambiado. Like, what is that bullshit? We're talking about a bitch that never liked me from the beginning and didn't want her kids next to me or around me because she always thought I was a bad influence. So there was her perfect excuse, you know, but I don't care. Oh, so in my family, one of my other family members was pregnant, I think at 16, I'm not sure. My uncle told my mom. I guess he was asking for advice. It was years ago, I was little, and my mom's mindset was, you know, get them married. And then when I ended up pregnant and she told him, she ended up telling him sorry for telling him what to do with her kid. So yeah, and my mom would always say, like, oh, when I found out about people getting pregnant, I try to say nothing because I have a daughter myself. I don't know, she's gonna end up pregnant, but I think that's a lie because I knew she would say shit about, like, you know, girls getting pregnant early. And same with my grandma, you know, they just always have a big mouth, like, oh, look at this person, and they want to have boyfriends at such a young age, you know. And I don't know if with what happened with me kind of like calmed her down. Hopefully it did. I wasn't really too bummed out about what people were gonna say about my pregnancy. I knew I was gonna get judged, obviously, but that was pretty much it. There hasn't been a comment that really got to me, when I announced my pregnancy, like there was a lot of mean comments. Why didn't you move out when you found out you were pregnant? So same reason, I was kind of being held back by my mother. If you didn't watch my other video, I did say that she was like, she don't want me there, but if I wanted to leave the house, I had to get married. Oh, I didn't mention that when we were talking about that, and she was like, me vas a casar. She was like, but it's your choice. And I didn't understand when she said that, and I still don't. Like, what do you mean? Like, it was my choice, but I had to get married because she wanted to fix the little problem that happened. And I also didn't mention that when I found out I was pregnant, my dad had called that same night the pastor of the church to ask him for advice. He was very calm. He was like, you know, a lot of teens right now are sexually active, and so me and my boyfriend, I guess we took like counseling, and he would meet us like once a week or something, and we would just talk. And I feel like that was nice. It wasn't too bad, but I feel like the purpose for it was for us to get married. And I also didn't mention that I had went in front of my church and told the whole church that I was pregnant, and so did my boyfriend. Like, he did a little speech first, and then I did a little speech next. And when I was going up there, I was confident. I was like, you know, I'm not gonna cry. Like, I'm just saying, recently I found out I was pregnant. But when I got up there, I literally started crying. And the whole like ceremony was about young women having sex, and that they're always getting shamed. It's always the woman getting shamed, but it's never the guy taking fault. And I only did that because supposedly it was the right thing to do. That is something my dad kind of took a role in. He was like, you know, you have to do that. My brother was here at the time, and he had got mad because he felt like I didn't have to do that. But I honestly feel like that was the only like most embarrassing part of me announcing I was pregnant. I did feel kind of forced to do it, but in a way I'm kind of glad, because when you tell somebody, you kind of just like shut them up. Some people will still like, you know, talk. But when you say it, you're like, okay, she told us, like how I did on YouTube. But it was just kind of like in person. What are some things you didn't know about pregnancy, labor, and postpartum? I had a pretty smooth pregnancy, so it wasn't really like nothing I didn't know. With the labor, that junk hurt so much. I didn't know how bad the pain was, but I obviously knew it was gonna be bad. And postpartum, I feel like there's a lot of things to that. Nobody really told me about postpartum other than you're gonna be bleeding and swollen. But I also had stitches. I didn't really know about the stomach part, that I was gonna be left with a pouch and my stomach was gonna look dark for months. This is kind of out of topic, but in the same topic, but it's a different topic. Okay, whatever. So when like family would tell my mom, like, did you talk about this stuff with your daughter? My mom would always be like, yeah, like blah blah, calzón quitado, but that's a lie. She did tell me some stuff, but I feel like not enough. I feel like she knows teens have sex like they did in her time, but she just had this mentality. Just all she had to tell me was, no, you have to wait till marriage. So I feel like she only really said that to kind of come off like, oh yeah, I did tell her, but she still decided. But even then, like, you could teach your kids whatever, but at the end of the day, they're gonna be choosing their own decisions, their own choices. Back to the topic, postpartum, she didn't really tell me anything. I was really drained, really tired. I really had trouble getting up. I pulled my sciatic nerve. I had trouble holding my pee, and breastfeeding hurts. I mean, it's really just like the nipple part that just stings, and then when your baby wants to latch on it, it's just like, it's like your nipples like throbbing. Oh my god, these noodles are kind of stale, but they're kind of good. Anyways, was your belly heavy while pregnant? Not really until the end. Like, I would feel it in my pelvis, and I would just walk for a mile for the last 5 days that I was pregnant, and I would just get tired. It was just like the very end. I'm talking about the very last week. Were you scared or confident that you can conquer being a young mom? As I said, always had the mentality that you could pretty much get through anything, and it's not the end of the world. I was scared, obviously, because I'm hella young. I didn't know what I was getting myself into having a kid, but I was also like, well, I'm gonna have to learn. And also, when I had told my parents, my dad, he did tell me this, and I forgot to mention it in my other video, that he had said, you don't know what you're getting yourself into, and you don't really know what you're getting yourself into when you have kids. How did people at school think about you? I don't really know, but I did have this one class my science class. It was before anybody knew I was like barely like 3 months. And this girl was like, she had asked the teacher, Mr. Blank, don't you think it's so sad how girls have babies so young or something like that, basically saying about teen moms. And then the teacher was like, yeah, that is very sad. And she was like, yeah. And I was just like, they're like, bitch, I'm pregnant. It's like the only thing that happened in front of my eyes. I don't really know what people said, but it's just crazy because you think about your class. My school, there's like what, 500 something students, and only like 2, 3, maybe even 4 girls actually have kids. I'm one of them. I was like one of the 2 or 3 girls that had a baby in high school in my class. Man, y'all see how freaking stale these are, but they're still good. So I'm gonna keep on eating them. Oh my god. Did you ever think your baby daddy would leave you after finding out you're pregnant? If I'm being honest, yes. I feel like it's so common that you're like, oh my god, like what if I get left? And if I get left, you know? But then again, I would think like, no, I trust him that he's gonna be there, and if he doesn't and he switches up, then you know, our life goes on. And he's always been there. Hardest obstacle while pregnant, when they get bigger, or maybe because I'm tiny, that you can literally feel their butt right here and you can barely breathe. You're like, that was me at least. What would you crave while pregnant? I didn't crave anything other than I liked eating Mexican food and home food rather than food from outside, you know, like burgers and stuff. But I would crave Auntie Anne's every time I would go to the mall. Cinnamon pretzels. Biggest advice you would give to teens having sex? I'm gonna tell you something that y'all probably didn't know, or maybe you did. So when I was a freshman, before I was even sexually active, my biology teacher did tell me, or tell the whole class, we were talking about reproducing to have kids. You might want to have sex for X amount of reasons, but the real reason is because your body wants to reproduce. Your body wants to reproduce. So if you're not ready to reproduce, but you still want to do the dirty, then watch out, because the kids can come and they're ready to reproduce. Plans for the future. I honestly don't know, but I feel like I have so much waiting for me and my kid, and I'm so excited. I have a lot of plans, but I don't like to talk about them until they're actually done. I don't want to be like, oh yeah, this is gonna happen. Never mind, it didn't work out. I mean, it's normal to happen, but I just rather not say it or reduce the amounts I say it, if that makes sense. I'm probably thinking about it too hard. Was your bladder the same after birth? No, I had to learn how to hold my pee again. How were you able to lose all the baby weight? It's hard keeping the faja on. Let me tell you something. I barely gained any weight. I gained 30 pounds, but I was underweight. So by the time I was done with my pregnancy, I think it was like 127, 121, somewhere around there. I think the biggest factor that took was that I was skinny before, so it would be easier. Mainly just the stomach part for me, holding it together. So I would always wear like faja, even though it was uncomfortable. You gotta do what you gotta do, sis. Were you embarrassed at first? And I feel like I got a little embarrassed. How long did it take you to heal? It did take me, I'm gonna say a month, because of my sciatic nerve, and the blood went away after 4 weeks. The stitches kind of dissolved like after a week or 2. I was swollen for about a week. My stomach went down drastically, I want to say in 2 weeks, but I did not feel like myself until months after. And I'm done breastfeeding. Someone asked how long did I breastfeed? I breastfed for a year and 1 month, so 13 months. I gave birth without the epidural. I was in labor for over half a day. I feel like a beast, to be honest. I was freaking 17. Do you want to have more kids? Yes, I do. I love kids. Do you live with your boyfriend? Yes, I do. I didn't mention it in my last video that I completely moved out with him by like January, but when my boyfriend had offered me to move in with him, I had told my mom that, you know, that I got offered to move in with him and that They didn't see the pressure of us getting married. My mom freaking said that I could move out there, but she was not going to speak to me. That's what held me back. That's why I didn't move out with my boyfriend right away when I was pregnant. It made me just really think, like, do you really want this? Do you really want to live with him? Living with someone is totally different. It obviously doesn't feel like my home. I like it over there, and I can't wait to have our own home, our own privacy. But just for right now, I mean, we could live out on our own, but it would just be really hard. Thoughts on marriage. My thoughts have changed so much on marriage. Before, I was like, I want to get married young, like 23, have my kids 24, 25, be a young mom. But the youngest I feel like I'll get married is 25, unless things happen differently. I don't think we should get married young, and especially with kids. You should have kids with someone you think you're going to be with. I feel like if me and Jordy were to end up broken up, we would still co-parent because he wouldn't just leave him like that. Has being a mom changed your perspective on life? Yes, it has. I don't know. It's not like right away, like right after I give birth, I'm like, oh my god, I see the world different. It's kind of just takes time as you're learning. You see things differently. I feel like I'm more thoughtful about things. I'm more patient. I try to be a good person, a good mom, good girlfriend, because I'm not a wife yet. Parents' reaction on birth control, they don't know. I don't know if they know if they watch my videos, but I don't think they know. What age are you planning on having babies? I'm thinking youngest 25, but I would like 28 plus, like 28 years or older. How many pregnancy tests did you take? I took 2. Do you feel like you missed out on your teen? Did you feel like you missed out on your teen years? There was nothing to miss out on. What kind of teen years would I had if I didn't have a kid? Unless I decided to, you know, act like a rebel. And do whatever I want. Even then, like, I'm not really like a crazy girl. Do you ever think about deleting the baby? I feel like it's your choice if you want to have an abortion, but that's just something I wouldn't do. Did you get stretch marks? Yes, bitch. I got a lot on my ass. Did some microblading and that shit went away. You could kind of tell like a little bit now. Did your school tell you anything? Yes. I don't know, freaking told the freaking counselor, I don't know what she's called, for teen moms, and she called me there and they were trying to get me in this program, and after my kid was born they were trying to get like his social security, and I was like, girl, like, stay away. I'm just kidding, I didn't say that, but I had signed up with them just for like the support part, but it wasn't like, oh, can you provide me diapers, wipes, stuff like that. Honestly, thanks to you guys that I don't need anything, or there's nothing missing in my life right now. Like, it's literally because of YouTube that I am able to have a little job and pay for everything I need. So I can never thank y'all enough for just watching me, literally. Oh, I wrote down some notes that when I had posted my video that I was pregnant in January, I had told close friends, and those friends of my close friends would ask them like, oh, did you know she was pregnant? And they would be like, yeah. And they're like, why didn't you tell me? Like, bitch, the fuck do you mean? Well, why didn't she tell you? Because it's none of your damn business. I had literally had 3 friends tell me that, oh yeah, so-and-so told me this, so-and-so told me this, so-and-so told me this. Like, why didn't you tell me? Like, what the fuck? In my last video I did mention how like my Mexican parents are like very trying to control your life. That has changed. I know it kind of seemed like that it was still like that in my video, but no guys, like, I took my own decisions basically when I was 18, and I didn't feel like grown enough to take my decisions, but I feel like it was what felt right. And I feel like now I take my own decisions, and I tell my parents, but I don't ask them. The only thing I really ask them to is to take care of my baby when I need them to. But that was pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Please like this video as it helps me out and lets me know you like the video. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok. I'll leave that all down below. See you guys in my next video. Stay safe. Yo, bye. I'm gonna tell y'all something that nobody really knows, but it's like, I don't know if this was what happened, was why I got pregnant, but it's just, I'm just telling y'all. So basically, you do not have to have pregnantation for you to get pregnant. You can literally have it near your freaking cuckoo, and it can swim up there. So I'm pretty sure that's what happened, because that's the only time it happened. And right after, my boyfriend was like, do you think we should get plan B? And I was like no, like, it's like a very low chance. Even though it's a very low chance, there's a very strong sperm swimming up there if you end up pregnant. So that was Andresito. Like I said, I'm not 100% this is the way it happened, but when I count back, that's what happened. And I'm just saying that, but it also could have been just through not using protection.